Alright guys, it is time for the record. You take that documentary, of course, and I say we get right into it. I'm ready, boys. Let's spill the tea.
In 1990, 5 young lads from Northern England were brought together to form a band called Take That. They went on to sell 25 million records worldwide, making them the most successful British band since the Beatles.
He's definitely in the top 3 most disturbed individuals that I've ever worked with. I only wanted him to love me. You know, that's the sad, really sad thing.
I don't want to get old and look back and think, why didn't I shag that girl? I wanted to kill myself, but I'm just too much of a shitbag to do it.
There'd be queues of girls wanting to get to where we were. Never thought that would be the last time I saw him.
We all had our fair share of fun and sex and frolics. It was our world to be a part of something like that, you know.
During Take That, there were some very dark times. If Lulu says I've given her one and she says I was great, that's fine by me.
But at the peak of their success, they split amidst tales of alcoholism and drug abuse. One of them is now an international superstar. But what happened to the other 4? Tonight we find out as we bring all 5 together for the first time in 10 years. This is Take That for the record.
What happened to the other 4? Okay, is it just me, or was that a little shady? No, that was definitely shady. My goodness, the media in the early 2000s was a whole other world. Don't even get me started.
But I was always the talented member of the band.
By the time I was sort of driving 17, I had my own act, which was singing cover versions, you know, The Wind Beneath My Wings, whatever, pop idol stuff, you know. And that was kind of my living.
It's next a senior entry written by 15-year-old Gary Barlow.
It's today, it's Christmas, and from this day we must parade.
I was dancing in and around clubs in Manchester. I started dancing when I was like 13, break dancing and body popping and stuff. And I started dancing on TV shows.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Hello, my name is Jason Orange. I come from Manchester. I decorate in the daytime and I dance at the night time.
I worked in a bank at that time. It was a way to break out of that mould, you know. And I just thought, oh, yeah, you know, why not?
I was a vehicle painter, mending cars for a living, and at the same time I was dancing, but obviously not a professional. Luckily for me, he gave me half a day off. If he hadn't given me half a day off, I would have been looking at someone else. I would have been looking at a boy group on TV, saying, oh yeah, he's gay, he's gay.
I seem to think that my mum heard about it on a radio station one morning and sent my CV off, which of course was extensive. My work at the Rep. And have you seen my Dodger? I was fantastic. And she sent the CV off, and then I got a call, I believe, from Nigel Martin Smith to go up and be interviewed.
A friend of mine brought me a clip out of a newspaper, and it was Nigel's advertisement for this band.
I can remember feeling incredibly intimidated and nervous about going into this guy's office. And then he didn't do anything to put that at ease in any way.
I suppose my first meeting with Nigel was one of those milestones in life, really.
Gary was basically doing the clubs, working the proper working men's clubs, and he came to see me about doing bit parts because he's got an equity.
This is Nigel. I see.
I remember thinking, I'm about to beat this bitch up.
We'll see where the night takes us.
He mentioned right at the very end that, oh, by the way, I write music, and so I said, oh, right, nice one. Have you got any, any tapes or anything? So he left me a tape.
And he took this tape off me like he'd been given 1,000 of these things, and he just kind of tossed it onto one side of his desk.
This track came on and I thought, that's not him. That's not this kid I've just seen.
I had a show that night, so I was washing my Ford Orion, I could hear the phone ringing.
Just about that tape that you gave me, what's on it?
I said, it's me.
So I said, that Million Love Songs track, is that you singing? He went, yeah.
But who's made all the music behind it? Yeah, I said, I do it all in my bedroom. It's just me, the whole thing.
So I said, can you come in straight? Can you come back?
I said, absolutely. What time? 10 o'clock. Please come back and see me.
And the demo for Million Love Songs, he had a little studio at home, was exactly the same as what went on to be the hit record.
Just a casually classic ballad. Nothing major.
I flew in there to Robbie in bed, shivering, as he's been up all night with a certain international model, drinking champagne and taking cocaine.
Well, isn't this a lovely bedtime story?
So when I went to meet Nigel for the first time, it was a bit weird because he was looking at me. He was sort of weighing me up and down,
I remember meeting Rob outside, and he was wearing, if I can remember correctly, like this orange hoodie top, and he was with his mum, and I was with my mum.
Mum, don't walk up the street with me. Go on, go off. And as I looked up, there was another lad having exactly the same conversation with his mum. Mum, leave it now. And as we got closer, it was like, I am Rob, and he said, I am Mark.
I never had that natural kind of style thing where you could just go into a shop and you'd pick something that looked great on you, and I never had that.
There was this guy with,
Okay, maybe this video has been manipulated for YouTube because this isn't an official upload, but the color grading on Gary's shot is bothering me so much because he looks orange. If I was annoying enough, I'd fix it myself.
I say, a Morrissey haircut. And I was thinking, twat. and now I'm not, it's like I tried to have it cut the same today, and it was Gary, and he got blonde hair, I seem to remember, and he got these Converse 100s on with an Italia 90 jumper, if I seem to remember correctly. And I just looked at his trainers and I thought, knob.
Robbie had all the cool gear on, and Jason, real natural physique, and Howard just looked like a model, They looked like you looked after themselves, they dressed well, they were all quite fit, and that was the first time I was kind of, God, I've got to work at this.
Howard came late. Sorry, Nigel, sorry. And Nigel didn't seem to mind. That's weird. Didn't seem to mind. Howard had a lovely body.
Gary wasn't so good, but Gary was always...
Wait. Okay, no, I gotta go back. I gotta go back like 20 seconds. It's so interesting hearing Gary say that, seeing the other guys made him a little insecure about his appearance, because when I first saw their early 90s stuff, I thought they all looked great. But that just goes to show you, comparison is truly the thief of joy, and everyone falls victim to it in some way, shape, or form. Especially when you're a younger person.
Oh, they were all quite fit, and that was the first time I was kind of, God, I've got to work at this.
Howard came late. Sorry, Nigel, sorry. And Nigel didn't seem to mind. That's weird.
Funny.
Didn't seem to mind. Howard had a lovely body.
Gary wasn't so good, but Gary was always he always...
Wait, hold on. Is Nigel Martin Smith gay? Oh, okay. That makes sense now. In 1995, Gay Times listed Martin Smith as one of the most influential gay people in music. Not gonna lie, I'm a little ashamed to share the gay gene with that man. Terrible news.
Tried his hardest.
Howard and Mark, I immediately warmed to, because they're both just dead lovely lads. You know, I related to them straight away. Robbie, I just thought he was a bit of a geek at first when I first met him.
I can remember now very clearly saying to them, you know, in 5 years' time, if it is a success, you'll probably hate each other. You'll definitely hate me because of that's what happens, but we'll all be very wealthy.
And then the fun started.
Well, he was honest. I'll give him that.
We had this choreographer. He was a nice guy, but Nigel had ordered him to do to make us do press-ups every morning as soon as we got in there.
This guy had us doing press-ups, sit-ups, routines till 7 in the evening. Oh, it was horrible.
At the beginning of the band, they sort of instilled a kind of boot camp mentality that to a certain extent I think was needed.
Okay, I'm sorry to pause again, but I had no idea that Nigel was gay. I'm just learning this now, and it's kind of blowing my mind because it's putting a lot of things into perspective, you know. The way they were marketed in the beginning, it makes a lot more sense to me now. That was always a looming curiosity in the back of my mind, why they went that route in the beginning. The more you know.
We even had our outfits by now.
Oh, Dancing Gary never gets old.
The bomb.
Nigel had the idea that we had to be quite controversial. We should dress ludicrously. When I look back now, it was ludicrous. Bondage gear and chains and lycra and all sorts of stuff.
A lot of gay clubs was where we started off.
Let's go!
You know, we'd be in our dressing room and the guy had introduced, yeah, take that. And the song would start and we'd all be trying to get out of our dressing room.
It was like running through this crowd, having our asses pinched, our front bits pinched, and trying to get to the stage, trying to push past everybody, and almost missing the cue for the beginning of the song.
Oh dear.
We do school halls, you know, where kids are actually at school. We go into their schools and invade their assemblies to do about 2 or 3 songs to backing track, you know. Teachers must be looking at us.
Wait.
My bondage gear on and these teachers and the pupils are there.
Wait a damn minute. You mean to tell me they were performing in schools shirtless and in bondage gear and whatnot? 50% of me is like, oh my gosh, what on earth? And the other 50% of me is like, I wish I could have been there. I'll be honest.
Then we had our first single, and we had our first video. And I think that was the next stage, really.
I brought that on my own label, and they went up and down the country performing it anywhere and everywhere.
As a song, it's not brilliant, but it got us notice.
Shame on you, Gary. I disagree.
First video, you know, you're getting told what to do and you're going, yeah, okay then.
I got my arse wiped off with a mop and loads of jelly as me and 4 of my mates lay on our fronts naked, you know, and then we had cod pieces and pit boots and lycra all-in-ones.
It's cleaning jelly out of my arsehole for the next 2 years after that video.
It was fun, but I never thought I'd ever be doing anything like that.
Understandable.
Up at all these road shows, you know, Radio 1 road show, live on stage, take that with that, put, 35 miles an hour through the park waving at the fans, Salford Van Eyre on the side. It's funny.
We stopped at some motorway services, and I think we were in a copy of Number One or Fast Forward or whatever it was. I remember being in the service stations thinking to myself, I'm going to Wogan, a sing on the telly.
They've been tipped as Britain's answer to New Kids on the Block. We're not looking for an answer to that, are we? Except these guys can dance as well as sing with their latest single, Promises. Take that!
What you telling me that for when you don't mean it? What you telling me that for? I don't believe it. Your promises never be anything you've made them seem. So what you gonna promise me this time?
I think probably the best time. Promises had just gone in at number 39. We were in a hotel in London, and we all jumped up and down on my bed and we broke it. That's the most excited I've ever been about a chart entry of Take That or me solo. There's a video for not No Regrets. That's the song about Take That I wrote. Promises, and he's in the video. He jumps out of this jacuzzi with his body like that, and every time I used to play it, my house go, watch the new video. He's go, that's me. That's me, because you can't quite make out who it is.
It only takes a minute, girl.
I felt defeated that we had to release a cover version, but it did what it did for us. It got us in the charts, which is what we needed.
It only takes a minute, girl. Only takes a minute, girl. To fall in love.
Now cross your feet and leap out. Now turn to your side and kick.
What everyone said, you know, pop music, it's gone, it's had it, but it was back. All of a sudden, we're an album-selling act.
What about all these comparisons to New Kids on the Block? Have you fed up with that already? Because I know all the tabloids have been saying that. Do you sort of go, ooh, no?
We liked it at first. Yeah, I think at the beginning we needed something to sort of compare us to get us in there. I think it was a good thing, but hopefully now they'll start talking about us as being our own thing.
Right.
That's what we hope.
You know, what I will say in regard to what Gary just said about releasing that cover of It Only Takes a Minute Girl, that's the part of being an up-and-coming artist I completely understand, especially in the early 90s, you know. The industry worked in a totally different way, which has its pros and cons compared to the way things work today. But that's just one of those sacrifices that an artist has to make when they're trying to become a household name. So as much as that sucks, I understand why they would have had to go that route.
There's one thing on my mind, and that was to go back home to the studio.
Like he said, it did great things for them.
And we came back with a song called Pray, and that was our first number one.
It was at that very point where people started to take me seriously as a songwriter.
All I do each night is pray. Hoping that I'll be a part of you again someday. All I do each night is think. Of all the times I close the door to keep my love within.
It was a good video, but we was doing all the sexual thing and stuff. I was on near this fountain covered in baby oil, doing all this down my chest and stuff, and I think even then it felt a little bit uncomfortable that girls like it. You know, girls like this kind of thing.
Sex, yes, but there was... That is something that started to come more and more into the band. drugs and sex on the pop and roll. I suppose that's what we were.
Going on behind Gary to the right.
So I think we all had our fair share of fun and sex and frolics.
I was naughty, you know.
Show me sausage!
Everyone was naughty.
Kiss me, prick!
I believe it.
Everyone had a good time. We had our share.
Stop fucking filming us getting changed, you dirty bastard.
There'd be queues of girls wanting to get to where we were.
I don't remember
Oh.
Nigel saying no sex.
My gosh.
I only remember Nigel saying no full-time girlfriends.
God, when I put lipstick on, they all shouted at me in Belgium. I did have eyeliner on in a dress though, and I was shagging a bloke.
This room was full of girls, and she started playing with my cock.
Go out with him.
James, where's housekeeping?
You know, some of these girls want to marry you, or some of these girls would kill other people to marry you.
I've heard fans come up to me in Manchester and say, hey, listen, you know...
Oh my gosh. I think in the last 3 minutes of this video, I've seen more of the guys than I have over the past 2 years. I'm seeing cracks. I'm seeing penis outlines. My poor innocent eyes. Oh my gosh.
Jason, there's this girl threatening if anybody kisses or touches Jason, she's gonna stab him. You think, oh my God, it's the last time I kissed Jason.
We worked really, really hard.
The more successful we became, obviously the bigger the audience is, and the bigger the stage is.
Parasocial relationships. Great in some ways, not so great in other ways. Iconic.
The band, we were 5 kind of show-offs in a sense as well. You know, we enjoyed the adulation. It was charged. It was supercharged.
We were all really famous, all of us. It wasn't just one person. It was all 5. You know, to go out on your own, you'd be recognised by everybody. Go out as a 5. Oh my God.
The Smash Hits Awards was a show that was quite a big show at the time. We were there, and we won the most awards ever, 7 awards. And I always say that year, we really broke.
We'd walked backstage where there were other artists. I mean, big name celebrities there. And everybody stopped and looked at us.
And I think that was a big moment. That's when the mania really started to kick in.
Oh boy.
Oh, just got raped!
It's the things that they did, you know, write all over everything, disturb the neighbours, break things, try pinching things out of your garden.
You sleep at night, someone throws something at the window, there's girls out there singing Could It Be Magic till 3 in the morning.
When I got woken up by this morning.
I'm sorry for laughing.
Crazy things. Singing Babe at 10 in the morning.
It was crazy.
We could see how it was building with the fans, because we were, you know, I mean, it was getting worse and worse. Fans climbing into hotel windows and following us in vehicles.
I was so obsessed. We were obsessed. It's quite unhealthy.
Little innocent girls, as you call them, are 14 and 15 years old, who will sneak into a hotel.
There were girls in front of the hotel, writing on the tour bus.
They will smuggle themselves into rooms. They will tell people that they're maids, that they work in the hotel, just to get near the band.
You don't have a social life when you're Take That. Your life is Take That, and the only social life you have is with your friends going to follow Take That.
A Take That fan was more A disciple.
You could
It's
literally
hysteria. It's just
keep
hysteria.
fingers in the eyes, everything.
Gosh.
It feels like to have 10 young girls get you from different sides, dragging you.
And this was before social media.
They were the new Beatles, and people will start to respect them in the same way, I think.
We've been in situations where we've had hundreds, thousands, and you've literally had to fight. You've got a guy under your arm, or under each arm, and you literally have to fight your way through.
I mean, some of the fans did some wicked things.
Now, this sounds really sad and really psychotic, but when I first had my little boy, and he's 8 years old now, when he was probably about 3, I used to point at the telly and say, "That's Daddy." And he used to look at Gary and say, "Daddy, Daddy."
Fancy falling over. Top heavy with them tits, aren't you, love?
Listen, I called Gary Daddy sometimes too, but that's a completely different context. I've said too much. You know, my point is, that is wild, but I'm not judging her. I am, but I'm not.
Nothing really. But I couldn't eat a whole one. Oh, hey!
However many thousand people were there, I just remember turning around and just seeing all these arms in the air, and it just felt like a big family. It was just, wow.
He's definitely in the top 3 most disturbed individuals that I've ever worked with.
Wonder who that could be about.
One of the records that I always used to hear in the club was Relight My Fire by Dan Hartman.
Nigel had said, you know, we would like you to do it. The record company wanted a black diva, I believe.
I suggested they use Lulu, and they were like, no, we don't want to go with that. That's a really naff idea.
We actually recorded it, and they said if I didn't like it, it wouldn't go out. But of course, it was great. It was so much fun to record.
Within an hour or so of doing it, the label rang me, and he went, "You were right. She's done a, you know, brilliant vocal, and it works brilliantly."
Yeah, we had a lovely special relationship, but I think Lulu was gracious enough to have to make you feel like, you know, you're special with her. But yeah, I felt very close to Lulu for a period.
He was so handsome. He had a lot of energy, and he worked really hard on stage, Jason.
Did I give her one? I don't remember. If I did, I don't remember. I'm a gentleman. If Lulu says I've given her one and she says I was great, that's fine by me.
I am not going to answer that, and that's my prerogative.
I think we knew we'd done it when that record had been out.
We could get a Take That clock, Take That dolls, Take That stickers. There was a Take That calendar, there was Mark and Robbie merchandise as well. T-shirts, scarves, books, all sorts of stationery. There was even a Take That cake, would you believe?
I just remembered Gary talking about how he tried to get his doll, and he found out that his doll wasn't available in the store. It was a collector's item that you only got after buying the other 4. Poor guy.
Fuck all that.
And that means it's at #1 for a 6th time for Take That with Back for Good.
The UK Top 40, 1FM.
And I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a song just like over 4 chords? And that's all it is. It's just. Hey up. Now here's my audience. I know I've got a good audience. Do you want to hear Daddy sing?
Yeah. I guess now it's time for me to give up.
I feel it
it's time. Got a picture of you beside me. Got your lipstick mark still on your coffee cup. Oh, yeah. Got a fist of pure emotion. Got a head of shattered dreams. Gotta leave it all behind now.
By the time we had Back for Good, I mean, we had a #1 in 31 countries with that record, big hit in America, top 5 in America. You know, that was the pinnacle, I think that song was.
I did not realize that song went top 5 in the States.
We always said from the very, very word go, let's finish when we're at the top.
Yeah, it's probably a similar time to Rob when maybe getting more into the drug thing.
Come the time that I realised I couldn't be sacked, that was when he lost me. You know, it's like, I am now too powerful. You know, I think that was, you know, there was a time when I went, right, I can't be sacked now. Let's do drugs.
The record company's paying for 5-star hotels, first-class flights, you know, beautiful food. You've got a nice living.
Strange thing is, people do tend to see us as the boys next door, and we still are, funnily enough. We just happen to be the boys next door to Lord Litchfield. Jacuzzis and outside, sir, boy? Boy. Oh, thank you very much.
I remember once upon a time we was on the tour bus and we all had a wanking competition.
What the fuck? What? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What? Did I just... Okay. I just saw Howard's George Bush. That's what I'm calling it. Against my will. And now I'm hearing that they, I'm not repeating what he just said. Okay.
Wanking hand for you, that. Pure muscle. We had a wanking competition all sat at the back of this bus, watching this porno, and Robbie won.
Makes sense.
Robbie came first.
Top wank. Are we well enough to get 5 imitations? You want 5 who? Imitations. Yeah. You can't be imitated. Isn't that right?
We've got these old Polaroids of trying to light this spliff, this big spliff with this lighter, but with tears running down our eyes.
You know, smoked spliff.
It wasn't serious. None of us took it seriously. It was just great.
You're only in love with an image. Love with an image. You're only in love. Bedford gives away. Bedford gives away. Bedford gives away. Bedford gives away.
In Spain, on one occasion we all went clubbing and I think we all like did half an E or something, and it was the most amazing feeling.
Is the toilets. This is where every Take That member goes for a pee or a poo. And that's the 2 P's. A pee or a poo. The 2 Take That, 5 Take That members all go in there for a pee or a poo. Right?
Gradually, we all got, you know, things became too chaotic.
Yeah.
We were all getting too much money, perhaps. Egos became too inflated.
Fucking kiss you, lad. Not insane. Korean Muslim. I'm gonna get some booze. Obsession. Oh, don't. You've started this bastard now.
Tensions just started to come about amongst us all.
There was a little bit more arguing in the band now, you know. There was still a togetherness, but, you know, the jokes that used to be quite light were actually a bit heavier now.
The fucking hell are you?
In Germany, the very first MTV Awards from the Brandenburg Gate, I flew in there to Robbie in bed, shivering, ill, because he's been up all night with a certain international model, drinking champagne and taking cocaine.
Robbie always wanted to be more or do more than what he was doing in the band. So he started to cause problems, or to rephrase that, he started to become a problem for us.
I was so depressed. So depressed. And I was going back to my hotel in Manchester. And I just drink myself into oblivion. And I could just remember, you know, wailing like a banshee, uncontrollable, in my room by myself, downing in a bottle of neat vodka, you know, and I was 19, 20.
See, that's why I am unfazed when I hear things about Robbie, such as the story Nigel just told. Of course, I have the benefit of seeing all of this in hindsight, but that doesn't surprise me at all, because you have to think about what he must have been going through mentally to get to that point. It's heavy.
You know, he hid it well, in a sense, you know. At night after gigs, you know, I'd have a bit of wine, you know. Rob obviously had his a bit of vodka, but I didn't see him, you know, it wasn't like I saw him walking around backstage with a bottle of vodka or anything like that.
Robbie was always into drinking. He liked to have a reek boozy dough, we used to call it, a boozy do.
Went out last night, didn't get in until 6 o'clock. But you know, do while you're young, don't you? As I say, really enjoying ourselves, so.
Didn't really ever take him that seriously, because he didn't really want to be taken that seriously. He was just the joker, the funny guy, you know.
Never knew whatsoever that he was on a bottle of vodka.
Lend us some money so I can buy some booze. Buy us a doner kebab and lend us your car.
My drug taking would have happened with or without Take That, you know, and before Take That, I'd done acid and speed and smoked a lot of weed, so I was sort of heading into that direction anyway.
Rob went off to Glastonbury, and I remember he came back and he was absolutely wasted, and he went upstairs and had a bit of a kip, and he came down a bit later, and Rob said he didn't want to be in the band no more.
Oh, gosh. That reminds me, guys, if you haven't seen my most recent Take That episode on YouTube, I did write out my idea for the Love Ain't Here Anymore video treatment, how I would have done it. So if that's of interest to you, you can find it in the pinned comment under that video.
The day that Robbie left was probably the hardest day ever, you know, in all my professional career.
Don't you want me to go? So don't you beg me?
Something just snapped inside my head. I'd gone. I'd physically and mentally gone. I remember the night before we went out with the competition winner for a curry. And then I went back to my hotel in Manchester, drank myself stupid again. Woke up the next day, rehearsed as normal for the morning.
Robbie weren't pulling his weight. He was just being quite belligerent, really.
I couldn't take in information at the best at times regarding dance routines and stuff. But these rehearsals in particular, couldn't take anything in.
We did it all wrong, I think. We sat there as a pack, like a gang, told him what we thought of him, that he needed to pull his weight, what's he going to do.
And they said, you know, we've been thinking about, this is how I saw it, we've been thinking about doing this next tour as a 4-piece. What do you think?
He completely went on the defensive, just sort of completely like, listen, if you want me to leave, I'll go.
And then I stood up and we used to have a table full of fruit and I picked up a melon and I went, can I take this? And everybody laughed. Walked across the room and I got to the door and I looked back at them and I was thinking, this is it. And they looked at me and then I walked through the door. And then I left it a couple of seconds and I jumped back in, like that. And everybody laughed. And then I walked.
Never thought that would be the last time I saw him.
My security, our security at the time, Paul, said, so I'll be back on Thursday to come and pick you up. I said, Paul, I'm going to my house in Stoke.
So I goes, what time tomorrow? And he goes, I'm not coming back.
Okay, I'll be back on Thursday to come and pick you up. And Paul, I'm not coming back on Thursday.
And I'm like, yeah. I'll be about 10 or 11.
I said, Paul, I don't understand. I'm not coming back.
And I'm like, bollocks. So I get in the car. And even then, I still think I'm going to get a phone call. He's going to go, no, pick me up tomorrow at such and such.
And then I started to cry.
He saddened 1,000 hearts when he walked out of Take That.
The future of the pop group Take That is unclear.
He has left Britain's biggest band to pursue a solo career.
A suicide helpline had to be set up for distraught fans.
It's got nothing more to do than just 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
For 6 years, you become to get annoyed by people's egos. Yeah. And you start to get annoyed by people, the way, the mind games.
I was shocked. We were all shocked, I think. We didn't think he'd actually go.
We found out he was on a boat in the south of France, I think with Paul Yates and George Michael. We thought, well, that's it. That's how much he gives a shit.
When Robbie left, I didn't feel that much. For whatever reason, Robbie and I didn't get on that well in the band.
I didn't really think about it that much, if I'm honest with you. Didn't really think about it that much. I just know that I had 2 weeks to learn how to rap.
Oh boy, I don't drink, but I feel like this is the point where I'd need a glass of wine. It's wild to me how much of that could have probably been avoided to a certain extent. I still think things would have ended up the way they did, but things would have probably ended on much less awkward terms had they just been able to communicate better, because as we can clearly see, they had no idea what Robbie was feeling internally, and Robbie had no idea about their perspective, because he just wasn't able to see that with everything going on with him.
Nigel. I haven't got a nice word to say about him. He's definitely in the top 3 most disturbed individuals that I've ever worked with.
Well, what have I done?
And I'm not even a f***ing doctor, but I've already diagnosed her.
What did I do, Rob? I took you out to Stoke-on-Trent. God, there's one thing I did for him. And I made him massive. And look at him now, look where he is now.
He thought I could do a job. You know, It wasn't a charitable event.
I'm very, very proud of the part I played in his success.
There was no, we'll pick him from Stoke in Tunstall because he looks as though he needs it. I made him money.
Yes, I did.
Exactly. As far as I see it, Robbie paid for 20% of that leather jacket you're wearing, sir.
Just take that. I sued him because he owed me 200 grand in commission.
And he would say, yeah, I picked him and I don't get any credit for that. He picked me because I was good.
I gave him his career as far as I'm concerned.
If it hadn't have been him who'd have found me, it'd have been somebody else.
Rubbish. I mean, I've heard Robbie has been referring to the various members of Take That as casualties from Take That.
He's really failed himself in this lifetime.
Robbie Williams, from the life of 17, has travelled the world first class, stayed in hotels. He's worth millions. He's a very lucky young lad. Don't talk to me about casualties, Robbie. It's sick.
I only wanted him to love me. That's the sad, really sad thing. I only wanted him to love me. And he never did.
What's funny to me is that nowhere in that last section did Nigel ever mention Robbie's talent. As Robbie just said, there was a reason he picked him, and it's just very funny to me that he wouldn't give him that credit. Interesting.
I never told anybody this. I was seriously thinking of jumping in the Thames, thinking I wanted to kill myself.
This documentary is trying to give me a heart attack. Oh my gosh. It'd be a shame.
We did it ourselves.
It'd be a shame. A real shame if that car just rolled off the stage and ran over Nigel. Not like threatening violence or anything. I'm just saying, wouldn't that have been tragic?
With the four of us.
We'd had the stages made. We were deep in investment basically in these shows. We had to do them.
There was a risk of this concert that was coming up. Half of the people weren't going to be there.
That first night that we walked on that stage, we didn't know what the reaction was going to be. We didn't know how that was going to go.
We kept at it. Nothing stopped for us.
I knew it wasn't the same. I knew it wasn't the same.
The main feeling was I was just getting carried away with the drama of it, just enjoying the drama and the attention more than anything. It almost didn't feel like the end.
We all went on holiday at Christmas, and that's when the band ended.
We always said, go out with a number one. And, 6 years on, it was getting hard. It wasn't fun anymore.
And it's making me.
I'm sure it wasn't.
How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to love, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all.
And can we just say thanks for everybody's support in the last 5 years. You've been absolutely fantastic to us. But unfortunately, the rumours are true. How Deep Is Your Love is going to be our last single together, and The Greatest Hits is going to be our last album. And from today, is no more. So there you go. Thank you.
After months of speculation, the news that...
Oh, don't cry. No, they'll be back in like 10 years. Don't worry. They can't hear me.
To split up after 3 years of success, including including 7 #1 hits.
Oh. Oh, I think they need ambulances out there. This is tragic.
From our point of view, even from him, I mean, it's very hard because we've worked with these guys for 5 years, and we watched them grow up. We watched them grow up from kids to men.
I just spent the day in my room. It was horrible. It still upsets me, and I mean, you can see I'm nearly crying. It just upsets me.
I've never seen anything that comes close to the guys.
I thought my world had ended. I didn't see any way out of it. I was probably crying for about 2 weeks.
I suppose in and amongst all the feelings, there was a feeling of relief. It's over.
No regrets, no thinking, oh, let's do a little bit more.
You know, I didn't grow up with a boy band as a teen. I mean, my generation had 5 Seconds of Summer and One Direction, just for reference, not to compare them or anything. But I wasn't even listening to their music at the time. I was discovering pop music, so I was very much in the Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Kesha, early 2010s world. So I would have never experienced anything like this. I think the closest thing to that type of heartbreak I've ever experienced is the show The Society being cancelled by Netflix a few years ago. It upsets me a lot, to say the least. So yeah, that's my pitiful attempt to empathize.
For me, it was like best news of the year so far.
Did I feel ready? No, I didn't. But it was time.
The end of an era.
Take that, and for us too. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow. From all of us here at ITN, good night.
The only one that didn't want to call it a day was Howard, who just sat there, you know, in floods of tears saying, no, let's carry on. You know, I don't want to stop this. I'm loving it.
I just wasn't ready for it finishing. Out of everybody, I wasn't ready for it. And I didn't want it to finish. I was really disappointed. I must have been emotional and tired about what was happening. I already knew that the group was going to finish. And I decided to walk out the hotel and go to the Thames. The state of my mind at that time, I never told anybody this. I was seriously thinking of jumping in the Thames. Thinking I wanted to kill myself. But I'm just too much of a shitbag to do it.
Howard was going to commit suicide. That is frightening, that. That is really shocking. I never knew that.
Uh-oh. Now I really need wine.
No, I'm joking. Maybe I can put some... Don't put that in. No, but I sincerely mean it, you know. Here's a wanker.
Now, Gary, at the press conference, you said you were all thinking about your solo career, but in fact, yours is already sorted. The album's finished, and the single is ready, isn't it?
Not quite, not quite. Be another month or so yet.
Well, when's
It'll be all finished.
When's the single released?
Single, July, album August, I hope.
And what's the title of the single?
Can't tell you just yet, Ray.
It's not a very good title for a song,
No,
Gary.
no, but the album's called S&M Dungeon in Amsterdam.
A song.
I did go for it, but, I mean, I did feel like I was repeating old ground, really.
It's so funny seeing him say this about this era because I loved both of those songs. And I mean, you guys know how I feel about late 90s Gary.
Serious. Your dick, my mouth.
That's inappropriate.
Don't get me started.
It's the worst for my alcoholism at that time. Because I'd wake up and I couldn't start the day or do the day without probably downing a bottle of vodka before the afternoon had finished.
Oof. No bueno. Wait, is there a music video for Lazy Days?
There was no plan. obviously in the back of my mind it was like start a solo career, be big.
South of the border, I think you ought to. South of the border, I think you ought to.
I remember at the time genuinely thinking, he's a genuinely crap songwriter, you know.
My life is extraordinary bad. I fought the fear and chased the pain.
I think the biggest problem with Robbie, Gary, is that we were both trying to do the same thing. And, you know, only one person can win, really.
Angels, I mean, Angels turned everything around for him.
Angels.
Yep.
It's just everyone loves it. It's a lovely tune. It's a brilliant tune. Everyone loves it straight away.
It's a great song. A great song.
The places where we go.
All the stars aligned for him, and yeah, it worked out for him. It did.
And through it, oh, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection. Whether I'm right.
I was dropped by RCA. I didn't have a record deal. I couldn't get away from the industry quick enough. I just wanted to hide me somewhere, because it was very humiliating, a lot of it. I've never laid in bed wishing I was Robbie Williams, but I guess 7 or 8 years ago I lay in bed wishing I had his career, definitely. I didn't want to be something I wasn't. Maybe I should have been. Maybe I should have tried that.
I'd like to dedicate this next song to Mark Owen, Jason Orange, Howard Donald, Gary Barlow. This is No Regrets. I didn't lose my mind, it was mine to give away. You even had the time to see. Bass!
We finished in Amsterdam and I came home and went on a 2-week holiday. And I came to the lakes, you know. It was somewhere I'd always wanted to visit. I'd never visited it before, and I came up and had a beautiful time, very relaxing. One being I knew all the other lads were going to move to South Manchester, to the Cheshire area. And I didn't want to kind of it to become like Take That village, you know, where we all lived within a stone's throw of each other. And I just wanted to get away from, you know, the whole thing. Why? I think that, you know, you live... I'd spent 5 or 6 years, 6 years on the road with them, so I could think of nothing worse than living on the next street to them, you know, in a sense.
Understandable.
I think what was one of the weirdest things was to go from, you know, having your schedule, day-by-day schedule, you knew exactly what you were doing, exactly where you were going, to then just, you know, closing the gates and going, OK, what do I do now? This is a song that I'm working on at the moment for a film, you know. I got a publishing deal this year, which is fantastic. You know, I never had a publishing deal for so long. I miss Rob not being in my life like he was then, you know. He's probably the one I miss the most. I missed him from when he left, and I miss him being a close friend. I do still miss Rob.
Okay guys, the winner of Best British Single is...
Robbie Williams. It's Robbie Williams.
I recorded my own album which was, in my eyes, a great album.
Where is it?
That we didn't end up releasing the album, and that all went to pieces. It was an amazing single. It really was an amazing single. It was called Speak Without Words, but it never got released.
I get a buzz out of DJing so much. I love DJing, I really do.
I demand that album be released. I don't care if it's too late. If there's any chance, I will absolutely go into Karen mode and write a strongly worded letter to whoever.
10 years' time, I'd like to think that I was a successful house producer. This is my house, which hopefully is going to be ready in about 6 weeks, but looking at it, I'm not so sure. I split up with my girlfriend and she moved here with my daughter, and so wherever my daughter goes, I go. So I decided to move around here, sell my other house, and move here. That's the reason. Going back and forward to Germany, because my daughter lives in Germany as well, it's difficult to get things moving. And every time I come back, I want things changing, and I can't follow what work's going on, and you know, it's a bit of a nightmare, really. Let me throw you in.
So Howard, has fatherhood surprised you?
Surprised me? Yeah, big time. Well, it certainly surprised me, because none of them were planned. How does it go, Daddy's music?
I don't know what it means. No, that isn't it. It's for me.
You know.
Okay. Let me just say, the resemblance is uncanny. This is adorable.
I don't play Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, you do.
I don't play Kylie Minogue, you silly fool. I just love being a daddy. I love being a daddy. I could recommend it to anybody.
I'm sorry that I can't be here in person to receive it. I'm doing Panto with Celine Dion in Wolverhampton.
Since the breakup, nearly 10 years ago, I've gone back to college, did some college courses, I did some backpacking, travelled the world. I've sat around a lot, pondering a lot, chilled out a lot. Yeah, so now I'm 35, I'm just starting now to feel like I would like to go back and do something. But I'm not sure what yet.
I was about to say, Jason, I have a feeling something's coming very soon. And then I got distracted by boobs. I guess it's just the American in me. You never see boobs on TV here. Of course, it's not a problem. It just shocks me every single time because I go into panic mode temporarily. Like, oh my gosh, am I watching the right thing? What am I seeing? Howard, I think you'll be just fine, you know, for the next few years. I said Howard. Ugh, Jason. I meant Jason. Sorry.
I've been sleeping poorly for I'd say 15 years actually. But it was never too much of a problem during Take That. But it was always there, present. But it's since Take That, so in the last 10 years, my sleep's it's gotten awful. I just have phases where I just can't sleep. I've analysed it for myself, and I think what it is, what happens to me is I lie down and I'm absolutely exhausted. Something else kicks in. It's like another, not a voice. You know, I do have voices in my head, but it's not one of those voices. It's something just kicks in which it almost challenges me. A stubbornness coming from somewhere inside of myself, stopping myself from getting a decent night's sleep. It's almost like Something in me wants to will me to fail.
Oh, that got a little deeper than I expected.
And the winner is Robbie Williams!
Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams and Mr. Robert Williams.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to my crib. Come on in. When I bought this place, it was a total wreck. This is one of those lounges that you never sit in, like ever. This is the second time in 10 years I've ever been in here. It's great. Anyone fancy any dinner? Thank you. Have you been messing with my chairs? Hello, gorgeous. Got my computer in here. This is where I do all my work.
Gary has the most dad sense of humor.
Dawn was one of the...
I love it, though.
17, she was 18.
Also, you guys have to hide me from Dawn if she ever sees this video, because I don't need her seeing me saying I call Gary daddy. Not at all.
I wasn't into them at all. It was just a job, and because I did the last ever tour they did. So it's just a job that I was doing. A good job, but you know.
We didn't pay very much, did we?
No, it's rubbish. But at least I got something else out of it.
I've put all the stuff I did in the band that side. I've put all the stuff I've done since the band that side. So there's a bit of work to do here.
Sorry, Gary. X-tape that Robbie Williams for Angel.
Wow.
Sorry, Gary. But I was always the talented member of the band.
I think everybody would love Rob to come. You know, it has been 10 years now for us all. I think it's, and I think they'd all really like to see him.
We've come so far, and we've reached so high, and we've looked each day.
10 years after splitting, Take That members decide to meet in a country retreat. This will be the first time the band have been together since Robbie's departure.
It's going to be interesting to see how everyone looks and what everyone's done with their lives in the last 10 years.
Oh, the drama of it all.
Getting all together, all in one room, and I think it's going to be a bit of a mash-up tonight.
I think everybody would love Rob to come. It has been 10 years now for us all. I think it's, and I think they'd all really like to see him.
I'm pleased to see him, and I think he will come. I hope he does come. If he doesn't, I think he'll miss out. It'll be nice to see him, but it might also be a bit strange. I might want to give him a slap, cosh around his head, for saying horrible things about Take That.
How are you doing, mate? You alright? Hi, mate. You're looking nice and suave.
Have you tied?
After all that talking, you come across like that.
I know.
Is it all then?
Tied for later.
You doing, mate? I thought he was going to wear now.
Right.
Just a cuddle.
I can't be tied for dinner.
Right.
Yeah, very good.
We're allowed to tell you that we've had well, I've betted Howard £100 that Robbie shows up.
I know you're going to be broke, lad.
I think he's not going, and Jay thinks he is. Anybody know anything?
We're to take our tops off so Nigel could have a look at our torsos while dancing. see how good we looked in the flesh. Do you remember? Or was that just me? Yeah, see we'd have a top on.
I think you took yours off without him asking.
Do you remember that?
Was that you then when I was round that curtain and Nigel was sucking your nipple? That's who he was.
Now, you have all forgotten. We definitely did
Was
that.
that not how you got into the audition in the first place?
The shade.
I remember being in his office and we were all sat around his desk and he said, before we do anything, I just want to let you know that I'm gay.
Paul said that?
No, Nigel said that. And he was saying, if any of you have got any skeletons in the closet, tell them me now. Yes. And I think we couldn't shut you up. Nobody could get a word in edgewise.
I think I was probably pretty instrumental in Robbie's leaving. I think I could have tried to persuade Robbie a bit more than I did to stay. I could have looked after him a bit more. But I think I just wanted to be on your side and against him, so I felt more secure.
I remember Mark saying that nobody was really there for Robbie, and it's true, because I kind of realise now how young he was and what happened, and you don't really know what's going through his head and stuff. I did care, but it just happened so fast, and I wish I'd said something.
I still feel bad about that day when Bob went, because I feel like we probably did it all wrong. I felt like we did all gang up one side of the table and say to him, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on?" You know.
Why did we do that, do you think?
I think the reason why was I don't think we were protecting Mark or Jay or Robbie. I think we were protecting Take That.
That's what we were. That's what the last 5 years we had been groomed to be. We were that band.
Guys, we asked Robbie to come tonight. He's declined.
Oh, come on, where is he?
No, well, I'm not surprised, to be honest. I think that it's you know, we have, over the years, seen a bit of each other, haven't we? Yeah. And it is 10 years since Rob's been in this environment, and, you know, you've got to... And I understand that him not wanting to come out, it's a shame.
I'm gutted that Robbie's not coming.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm gutted.
I'm gutted because... as much for him, really. Not that I care about him that much, but just as another human being, I just think it'd be good for him and good for us, and it would have finished the story off nicely. We started out as a 5, and to finish do this as a 5. It would have been a nice ending.
He might not actually give a shit.
No.
We'd quite like to play the messages that he's recorded for you.
Howard, I just sincerely apologise for any upset that I may have caused you after me leaving the band. Anything that I said and anything that I've done subsequently that has been demeaning towards you, I apologise. You're never anything but nice to me, you know, and you put me up in your house in Ashton, and we went round Ashton on Sunday nights with you and your mate Joss, and I thank you very much for the love you showed me. To Jay, I'm really sorry as well about taking the piss when I was in the band and when I left. And I think you're a good man, and I'd love to see you one day. Mark, you know, we're still in touch, and we speak to each other. I think you're a genius, mate, and the nicest person I've ever met. Gaz, you're an amazing songwriter. I apologise for saying that you weren't. I had up my arse at the time and wanted to be in Oasis. I apologise. You are an amazing songwriter. You have an amazing voice.
Got it. Well then.
Oh. What would you want to say back?
I think I've definitely said it in my interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just a shame that he's not here, really. That's I mean, when you see him on there talking about us like he is, I mean, it's positive, and I think we're all positive about Robbie and what he's doing now. It'd be just so nice for him to be here and to be sharing what we've shared today, bringing up old memories and stuff.
Yeah, it would be, but...
Shame.
I'd go into a room with Mark, Howard and Jason now, you know. But I think with Gary, I think there's a strange mixture of guilt from my part on what I said after I left the band, and also knowing that I wouldn't get any resolve. Yeah, I wouldn't get any resolve. Because I don't think, as a person, he could see how he was, or what he did, or how he acted, or how he behaved.
When Take That were finished,
I had a feeling. I had a feeling that's why he didn't show up. But again, I am unfazed because I am watching this in hindsight, and we all know how the story ends. Also, let me unpause so I can get this off my screen.
For one of them, they were looking for the story, and so the story became Gary boring, and Gary's not having any success.
There's nothing more exciting than a duel. There just isn't. Goes back in history, that does. Everybody loves a fight out.
Now, looking back at it,
it's true.
I have a completely different opinion. Now, Robbie actually did Gary Barlow the biggest favour ever, because who's really the happiest?
I have not nice things to say about that man. But no comment.
Give me a kiss. Gorgeous thing.
14 Brits. Fuck off. No, in all seriousness, I would swap everything that I have for that. Yeah.
In 6 years, Take That sold over 25 million records worldwide, achieving 8 consecutive #1 hits with 8 singles. Their success spawned a new generation of boy and girl bands, including the Spice Girls and Boyzone. Today, they're recognized as one of the most successful British bands of all time.
But remember this.
You touch people's lives, and that's what music does. It touches your life, and it's a memory, and it's with you forever.
On the whole, it was fucking great, man. Fucking great.
This will be someone else's dream.
I'd love to take that to be remembered as a bunch of blokes that came along from nowhere, took the charts by storm, took the world by storm.
I celebrate Take That, knowing how good it was for me and my life, how it has changed my life so much, took my life in a direction I never thought it would go to.
Brilliant pop. We were just great pop stars, and I don't think there's been a boy band as good as us for entertainment and for songs ever since.
True. Very true. 3 decades later, and no one's topped them.
Well,
dreams of pop stardom have certainly been shattered for poor old Maria, well, for the time being anyway, and the 7 remaining contestants are one step closer to the final. Don't miss the X Factor, Saturday at 7. Back to you tonight, and with the news coming next, followed by Tarrant on TV in half an hour.
As for that little shady statement Nigel made about Robbie, towards the end, the joke's actually on him, because now they're both happy. And they've both gotten the things they wanted. And honestly, guys, I was going to clarify that I was just having fun making shady comments towards Nigel, but after that final statement from him, I will be issuing no such apology. In fact, if I ever see him or hear from him in the future, my response will always be 14 Brits. Something else I wanted to talk about was Howard and Gary as solo artists. It saddens me anytime I hear about someone pouring their heart into something like a solo project or just any type of passion project and it not seeing the light of day, especially when it's because of industry politics and whatnot. That's one major overhaul I think the music industry needs desperately, and I think we are heading in that direction, but it's taking far too long. First of all, every single artist should own their own masters, no matter what. They should be leased to record companies. And second of all, an artist should be able to put out whatever they want, whenever they want. And if that affects their career positively or negatively in any way, shape, or form, they should be responsible for that. If that's a risk they're willing to take, then they should be able to take it without any hindrance. And they should have full creative control if they want that. I mean, you guys already know how much it breaks my heart to even think about how Gary was wronged as a solo artist and never got the chance to be who he could have been. Even though it's all good now, he deserved better. Same with Howard. He seemed very hyped about that album. So yeah, I wish they got dealt better hands in that regard. And as for Gary and Robbie, once again, it's just two inflated egos, and of course some other small factors playing into that, but they were throwing shade at each other in the late 90s and early 2000s, when all they should have been doing is kissing and making up, or just hugging it out. They don't have to kiss and make up. I think that's just me wanting that because I'm gay, but, wouldn't complain. This was a very fun watch. They definitely played up the drama, and some questionable things were filmed, but overall, very entertaining. And I'm actually glad I'm watching this after the Ultimate Tour because it's just making me appreciate the ending even more. Next up is the Beautiful World album, then the tour. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
14 Brits. Fuck off.